Welcome to the Ola Hawatma Show. Today I have a special guest, YG from Georgia. Stay tuned. Hi, welcome to the Ola Hawatma Show. Today I have a special guest that I'm so excited about. YG, known as the Bodyguard of Georgia. YG, thank you for coming on.
Hey, sister, thank you for having me. I'm so proud of all the amazing work you've been doing around the country. I've been following you on social media, watching your TV interviews, all the wonderful stuff that you've been doing. You are the tip of the spear, sister. So congrats.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You are doing so much as well. You are, tell me how you got the title Bodyguard of Georgia.
Well, actually, for almost 30 years, I was actually in security and actually did a lot of bodyguarding. I bodyguarded some very wealthy CEOs, celebrities, but a lot of these folks have more money than sense. Okay, so then I started, protecting the average person. I started protecting single moms who were targeted by gangs because their kids see gang violence and the gangs targeted them for assassination. So we would extract a lot of these moms out of those communities. And we've done several extractions domestically and internationally as well. And it's all for the safety of citizens. So that's how I got the name Bodyguard of Georgia, and I'm more comfortable with protecting regular people as opposed to wealthy people with more money than sense.
Well, you are always for the underdog. I mean, I met you because you were running for Congress in Georgia, and you were running a tough campaign. You were out there, I mean, with your billboards and signs and your energy and just out there, boots on the ground. Whether it be from one end of the district to the other, you were there. Tell me about that journey.
Well, I tell everybody all the time, it was the community that built me, because in 1992, I was actually homeless and sleeping on the streets of Atlanta. I was beat up, I was robbed and literally urinated on, man. My socks and my shoes was taken. I didn't feel like I had any love. I grew up in a broken home like so many of us have grown up, and I just felt like my life was worthless. And in one moment when I was about to commit suicide, while I was at the homeless, and just thinking about it, an older man in a white Rolls Royce pulled up next to me. He got out of his car, walked around. He was all of maybe 5'3". He was around 72 years old at the time. He saw that I had no socks and shoes on my feet. He took off his Argyle socks, slid them on my feet, prayed over me, and said, as sure as the socks cover your feet, God is going to cover your life. Now go forth and make a difference. And that one incident right there, it woke me up to so many things, that God actually still loves me. He never stopped loving me, and how America really needs to be. So instead of paying attention to all this race stuff, that this was, somebody who didn't see a black kid that was out there homeless. He saw a human, and he prayed over me. And me becoming who I am now took the effort of a lot of people within the community, black, white, some of everybody who believed in me and said, YG, we believe in you. We'll invest in you. We'll teach you how to be a businessman. We'll teach you how to connect with people. We will teach you how to grow people. But you have to promise to go out there and give it back and pay it forward. And
wow,
that's why I ran, and that's why I was everywhere, in the schools, everywhere in the community, because the community first gave to me.
Well, I will tell you, I believe in you. And your story is so inspirational. It just gave me the chills. People need to hear stories like yours, and you are touching the youth, you are touching schools, and you are touching moms. Your experience that I heard from you firsthand, your first time that I actually sat and heard you speak, that was, I mean, it brought a tear to my eye. It was just so overwhelming of what you've experienced from, I mean, I'm a minority, you are a minority. I mean, it's crazy because you think that we can create this bridge to work together. This last election, they made it about pro-choice and pro-life, and that's what I want to get into with you. Because when I heard you speak, the reason that you are so pro-life, and what you've experienced firsthand. It melts my heart. Tell us the story.
Well, I mean, this is deep because in 1999, I was coming out of a very bad first marriage, and everything was not her fault. So I'm gonna put this out there. It was some of me too. It was some of me too. But I was dating a young lady, real beautiful, tall, everything that a man can ever want, and she got pregnant. And I was not living a godly life. I'm just being upfront. She got pregnant. She got pregnant with twins. We named them Howard and Hank. Howard after the prestigious HBCU, historically Black college and university, and Hank after hammering Hank Aaron after, to me, the world's greatest baseball player. And everything was fine, but we got into this argument, and she had some friends of hers tell her that the best way to hurt a man is to kill his children. And and she actually went through it. And only thing I know is when I was talking to her, and she said, I did something that is going to hurt you. It's going to hurt you more than when you were sexually assaulted in 1985 when you was 11 years old. It's going to hurt you more than when you were homeless back in 92. I killed your kids, YG. I had an abortion, and I'm done with the relationship. And I cried and I begged. I'm like, why would you do that? And she said that my friends told me the best way to hurt you is to kill your kids. And then she hung up the phone. But this is the amazing way of how God works. Now, many years later, I was preaching around the country with my national ministry. And I was in a particular city, and I had just finished coming off the stage, and she was standing at the bottom of the stage. And I'm like, what are you doing here? You know, are you stalking me or something? This isn't Atlanta. What are you doing here? And she said, I need to talk to you. I just need 5 minutes of your time. And I said, I don't want to talk to you because you killed our kids, man. You killed our kids. I don't want to have anything to say to you. And she begged me, and she said, please forgive me for killing the kids, because the abortion destroyed her womb, and she can never have any more children. And she begs for me to become pro-life, and to dedicate any platform that I'm on is to fight for the lives of children so no one else has to suffer like we did. And by the grace of God, you know, I got over my anger. I forgave her. I understood what the mission was. I understood the assignment. And I said, I will absolutely do what you asked. And I promised her I will become pro-life. And ever since then, I have.
That is such an amazing story. You have such a great purpose on this earth, and you are fulfilling your purpose. As I've seen, I mean, I've known you for probably a year, but and you are everywhere as well. Are you going to run again?
Well, that's up to God. Right now, I'm focusing on the faith-based side of what we need for our country, and also a lot of the pro-life stuff. I'm deeply involved in building a coalition of pro-life from Florida to Georgia, because Georgia Right to Life is actually handling my Howard and Hank bill, the bill that I named after my sons, which will give dads the right to save the lives of their preborn children, for one. Two, it gives medical assistance to the moms who decide to have the children up to 1 year after the child is born, especially with the mental health. Okay. And three, it actually brings the father and the mom together if they're not married, to teach them successful co-parenting classes, which I myself will be a part of, and my adult children will be a part of that, on why it's important for mom and dad to have these co-parenting classes. So the coalition is from Georgia, Florida, Virginia. Right now I'm in Rhode Island right now, Maine, and Vermont right now. So basically, you know, the Southeast and the Northeast, we're building that pro-life coalition. But if God compels me to run again, I will. But, you know, it would take a lot of prayer. And but if he say do it, I will do it. But for right now, I'm focusing on the faith, the pro-life stuff, actually doing the things to bring the country together through the faith.
Well, that's so amazing. And bringing this country together is something that we're both on that same mission. I mean, how do we bring them together? I mean, we saw this last election, how it unfolded. It wasn't the red wave, but how do we bring together Black, white, gay, straight, pro-life, how do we bring others together without compromising our values, but helping our youth open their eyes and moving forward. What do you say to that?
Well, see, it's all about this, and then this is the security part of me coming out. Okay, the security and the military part coming out. It's all about targeting and identifying the true enemy. We are not each other's enemy.
No, we're
Okay.
not.
Okay, basically what has happened, and we talk about establishment, Democrats and Republicans, though, the powers that be, the elites have come together and worked cohesively to hold us all down. Now, notice everybody was upset with these, with politics right now. You got liberals who are upset and crazy, and then you got conservatives who are upset and acting crazy because we're all upset about a way we've been abused and taken advantage of by the systems that's going on right now. So instead of being mad at each other, I started talking to liberals and conservatives and saying, what are your values? What do you need most, to be happy? They want the kids to have safe schools, okay? Yeah. Well, guess what? The way the schools are, with all the propaganda that's been put in there, is reasons why the schools are violent, and nobody likes that, okay? Yes. They want to be able to have a job because of all the inflation that's been hurting them. They want to be able to feed their family. But because of the politics of these very wealthy elite Democrats and Republicans getting very wealthy off the policies that they push that only help them and hurt everybody else. So these are things, and especially also the faith element. Whenever I approach people leading with the faith, the barriers came down and we were able to have sensible, productive conversations, even if I'm having dinner in Democrat households surrounded by 8 Democrat families, but we always able to come together and break bread. And that is how we fix it. It's the faith that brings the people together, and it's the faith that's gonna move this country in the right direction.
I love that. I want to thank you for taking the time to coming on, and your positive message is so encouraging, not only to me, but hopefully to the viewers. Where can they, what's your website? Where can they find out more information about you?
Well, if you want to find me, go to YG, 2 letters, YG4Congress.com. That is still working right now. I'm still populating that with a lot of content right now, especially we're still in political season. But also find me anywhere on social media, YG Nyghtstorm. Connect with me. Invite me to your church. Invite me to your school. Hell, invite me to your house to break bread. Let's talk. I would love to come visit you and talk to you, talk to your family, community. Let's find out what the issues are. Let's find the solutions, and let's make these things happen.
Thank you. God bless. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot, YG.
Yes, ma'am.
You're watching American One.